I love setting up my terrariums pretty naturalistic. I want to make sure that the animal has options. It will also improve on their well-being for several reasons. Enrichment, microclimates are way easier to maintain, all that stuff, and it just looks way better in my opinion. But there is one downside. Now in this terrarium I'm keeping a venomous pit viper from Japan, the Okinawa region, and that's Ovophis okinavensis. And this female has been gravid for a long time. These are actually ovoviviparous snakes. Some people will call them viviparous because they lay eggs, but these eggs are not calcified and they often hatch within a few days. So sometimes within 24 hours. I've had them hatch within 4 days. Some species take a week. It all depends on the gestation period, temperatures, the locality of the species, etc. Anyway, this female finally laid her eggs a few days ago, and I've been trying to share that with you for the last few days without disturbing her too much. But what happened, she laid her eggs underneath the background. The background is a bit of a fake rock with all these slits, and she's laying underneath there on top of her eggs, and it's impossible for me to make any footage there. So that's something you do need to think about when you're gonna set up your animals more naturalistic and you're gonna breed them. There is a chance it is a bit harder to find eggs, for instance, or in this case to observe venomous snakes on her clutch, because snakes of this genus will protect their clutch. They will lay around their clutch until the eggs hatch, and even a few days after, until all the youngs have gone their own way. So that's a bit of a downside, because now I have to check every time if there's not maybe 1 or 2 young already roaming this setup, and I do need to say I can't wait to see these young snakes. So hopefully in the near future we're gonna post a video of me taking out some nice young black Okinawas from this terrarium. I really hope the incubation goes well. It only takes a few days, but it's still so exciting. I can't wait. About a week ago this female laid some eggs and they have been hatching for the last few days. I left her alone, all hidden away underneath the background. But today's the day we're gonna find out if I have any luck, and we have some nice black Okinawa young in here. Well, this female laid her eggs a few days ago, or actually a bit more as a week ago, and they started hatching the Sunday after she laid them, and today is Wednesday, so I left them for a while. I figured the young are not gonna go anywhere, and there's always a few stragglers. So I just wanted to give her some time, but it seems that all eggs are empty now for as far as I can see. So I'm gonna carefully take the female out. She's been protecting her young on her eggs very well thus far. I'm gonna try to get her out and then check if I can find any young. But it's gonna be a small challenge with the way I set this terrarium up. So what I'm gonna do is start with just slowly getting out some decoration. I'm not going to use my fingers for that, in case there's a young hiding in between. The mother is already coming forward. I almost need 2 cameras to give you guys a view of what's going on here. Take this out, yeah. Now there's a chance there's still some young in there, maybe there are some stillborn, so I also don't want it to last too long, in case it will attract. Oh, there's a whole bunch. Oh, that's cool. There's the mother, and underneath the cork, there under the leaf, you can see some young. I can't get any closer. Okay, let's get the female out. Don't wanna disrupt everything too much. Oh yeah, there's no more eggs in there, so all have hatched or were infertile. Hey lady. Also gonna check if there's no eggs left in the female itself. She still looks very full. Okay, let's put her in. I don't know. It's at least one more. Number 3. It's already better than last year, because last year I got 2 One died within a day and the other one eventually also died. I didn't have too much luck, but now I already have 4 young. You can see some difference in color. Now these are from the dark form of the Ovophis okinavensis. So when they grow up and start feeding and will do well, they will get a bit darker. The one on the left already seems highly in shed, so what's gonna happen is these young will also all hide away. They stayed relatively close to their mother, but I still need to search the rest of the terrarium. And then after about a week or 2 they will shed. So they come out of the egg and they're already in shed. Already have 4, that's already 2 more as last year. But I've still got to check the rest of the terrarium. Count how many eggs there were. Clean up. This is pretty much all that's left. An egg of Ovophis okinavensis. Now these snakes, some call them oviparous, which means egg laying. I would call these snakes ovoviviparous because with an oviparous animal, the female will develop her eggs, which are fertile or infertile, and once she lays them, the embryo will develop outside of the body of the female. These snakes, the eggs will be fertilized inside the body, and then the embryos will develop inside the egg, but that egg is still inside the body of the female. And as you can see, this is pretty much a sac. This is not really a calcified egg as I have with the turtles, for instance, or with the chicken egg or snake egg, whatever. And also when she lays these eggs, the young are pretty much fully developed already. They only still need to absorb some of the egg yolk that's left inside the egg. So there is number 5. 5 dark Ovophis okinavensis. I'm so happy. I was hoping to get at least 2. And I hope those 2 would do well so I can add them to my own collection. So getting 5 already is awesome. Now Ovophis okinavensis are a bit different compared to other Ovophis because they have rough scales, while all the other, oh there's a millipede, they have rough scales compared to most of the other Ovophis which have smooth scales. And these are also a bit more active by day, and they bask more deliberately. So Ovophis tonkinensis, orientalis, makassariaea are very reclusive, very fossorial. They dig burrows and they stay in there. Ovophis okinavensis can be found during the day depending on the time of the season, and they are sometimes found basking. And their diet will change a lot depending on the season. Because some part of the season there are a lot of frogs, so they will eat pretty much exclusively on frogs and toads. And the other parts, they mostly feed on birds or small mammals. And the way they do that is they lay underneath trees, and then when a bird or a mammal descends, they will grab it. I have a feeling there's one more. Yeah, there's another one. Number 6. This is awesome. She did so well. That's often the case. Last year was her first clutch and she was also not too young, but young. So often the first time it's not going as great as it can. And then when they develop more and they get a bit more age, then often... Oh, there's another one. 7? Damn! This one is a bit smaller. Not as full as the other ones. So either the egg sac, it didn't absorb it that well, or it was just a smaller egg. It's also a bit differently colored, a bit more brownish, but still going. I am not complaining at all. Oh, there are more. all the way in the... Let's see if I can show you. So I took apart most of the setup. As you can see, she had her clutch all the way there under the edge, and all the young have hatched and distributed a bit around the nest, but stay pretty close thus far. I've not seen anyone traveling from the nest, and that's because hatching takes some energy off them, and also they're very fragile. So there are more young laying there. So I already got 7, and there's I think 2 more in there, so that's 9 young. Whoa. And the cool thing is, she did not mate this year. So this is all from sperm from last year. Awesome. And you can see in a terrarium like this, I gotta be really careful. That's why I use all my tools. And it's really cool to see these young, how they behaved and stayed so close to the nest. Very nice. Let's get them out. There they are. I know the light isn't great, but there are the young Ovophis. This is so incredibly cool. Now the next step is to divide everyone, put them in an individual box, and then I will wait for them to shed, and hopefully they will start feeding soon. These are all just empty egg sacs. You can really see they're more like sacs than egg shells. Crazy, huh? Okay, the sun is directly on this place, but what I'm gonna do now is tube the female just to feel about if there's not anything retained that I need to worry about. It doesn't look like it. She's still on a good weight. I don't know if you guys can see what it like. As you can see, it's not a big snake, but it is a very full snake. And what I'm just gonna do is let her crawl over the hook. See if there's anything popping. No, this tube is too big. And I fed her 6 times this year. So she was already on a good weight, and I fed her only 6 times. And with those 6 feedings and sperm retained from last year, she was able to produce these 10 healthy young. As you can see, she's much darker as our young. Now what I'm going to do now is tube her. That's a very sad way, and I like to do this because they always crawl along a corner. Now I'm just gonna wait until she's a bit further in there. Come on. Oh, I made a mistake. I effed up. You're so pretty. You're such a pretty lady. Yeah. That's why I lay it down, because if they feel something touching their face, they back up immediately pretty much. Nope. Nope. When working with them, I'd rather be patient, not rush, although it's sometimes hard, but I'd rather be patient. It's incredibly warm in here still. Now it's safe. So I will grab her. I will hold her in the tube and just feel a bit. She doesn't like that at all. Now of course the eggs are soft, but you can still feel stuff moving in there if there's anything left. But this all feels good, so that's perfect. I know the light is a bit off, but we gotta deal with it. Such a pretty snake. Straight away back to the spot where she got her nest. There's probably still some smells in there, you know, I can't fully clean it. But this terrarium will be taken apart in the next few days, because I'm gonna redo the floor in this room. And I was kind of waiting for her to be done with all this.